I created a list of 30 billion-dollar brands, and I said, I'm going to reach out to them. At this point, I've worked with 14 of them. It actually up-leveled my life and got me to where I feel like I'm supposed to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Vision to Vibe, the show where we get inside the minds of marketing, sales, event leaders, and crack open what is the cutting edge, what is coming around the corner that's working in the world of going to market in B2B, building communities, lighting them up, and creating movements, not just campaigns. That's what we're all about. And folks, I am fired up for this one. This is like, a final boss level interview for me, meeting somebody who I've respected very much for a long time as I started out my business here. And I met Martin Smith, AKA you all know him as DJ Graffiti. And I was like, this is a guy who gets what I'm about, who gets that creative entertainment, connecting and lifting people up is a sorely needed skill and facet in B2B marketing, sales, particularly around events, virtual and in person. DJ Graffiti here has been doing that for many years. I saw him perform at Guru Media's big event this past May, and I said, I need to meet this guy. And Martin, you and I have gotten a chance to meet each other. You came to my talk at Inbound. You related to the soundbite I had that I said there's a conspicuous lack of music and emotion in a lot of B2B marketing and events that go on today. And I want to sit down and talk to you about that. So DJ Graffiti, welcome to the Vision to Vibe studio. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Nick. I am so just grateful to be here and to share the podcast with you. That final boss stuff. You were too much with that. But I'm just excited to be here and to dig in.
Okay, awesome, man. You're over there in Ann Arbor, Michigan, right? That's where you hail from?
I am in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I claim Detroit, Michigan. I grew up in and around Detroit and then came to Ann Arbor for the University of Michigan, and I got a couple degrees here. But so I represent Michigan as a whole, but yeah, definitely Detroit and Ann Arbor. Let's go.
I hear you. I'm really South Shore, Massachusetts, but I also rep Boston plenty. I'm in there plenty of time. So we both got the regional focus. But since you brought up where you went to school and how you kind of got here, let's get back to that. So people who don't know DJ Graffiti well, the brand that you've built and the service that you've been launching and thriving with, tell us about how you got into this. How did you become a sought after corporate, especially B2B DJ that huge brands have been seeking out to put into their events, virtual and in person? You've made a living at this, man. And you also have a little bit of a common DNA with me with marketing agencies and being a marketer as well by trade. I love that. We have so much of that in common. How did you get to this? Can you tell us a bit more about the journey and the revelation that made you say, this is what the industry needs and I'm going to give it?
Wow. Well, that's a long story. I'm going to try to cut it down somewhat, or we'll be here the whole time just telling my backstory. But let's accelerate the first 20 something years of me DJing, and then we'll get to how I got here to where I am now. But I started DJing in about 1997. I was a sophomore at the University of Michigan, and that was when I applied to join the business school. So I've been a marketer and a DJ for the exact same amount of time. All right. Now, the first 10, 20 years of me DJing was me trying to be at first the biggest, best DJ I could be. Mm-hmm. And when I graduated from school, I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm going to make it big. And I kind of did. Right. So after about 10 years, I got to the point where I was finally able to travel the world. I started off in, house parties and playing in my dorm and all that kind of stuff. But I got to the point where I went on my first international tour. And I had opened at that point for Beyonce and Snoop Dogg and Jay-Z. And I went around to, let's see, it was Paris and London and some couple spots in Spain and Germany. But after 2 weeks, I was like, wow, this was amazing. I've met people and had experiences that I've never had in my life, but I'm ready to go home. Mm-hmm. Right. So that kind of was a rude awakening because I had finally gotten to the point where I always wanted to get to. And then I realized that I don't think this traveling all the time is for me. And that's what it was. It's like the grueling of travel life was not for me. So at that point, I told myself, I don't think I can be a full-time DJ, even though I had gotten to that point in my career. Now, that very same year, I was named best DJ in Detroit. So it was kind of weird that I decided to step back from DJ and having it take a back seat when I finally got to all the things that I always thought I wanted. Right. At that point, I leaned into running my marketing agency and did that for the next 14 years or so. And so I still DJ'd that entire time, but I became the guy on stages giving marketing talks, telling people how to polish up their SEO and get their AdWords going. Right. So I was the marketing guy by day and DJ Graffiti by night, right? Yes. And then only because of COVID did I merge those two worlds together. And then that is what you talk about as me right now today, DJ Graffiti, the keynote DJ, was because while everybody was sitting at home, locked into their homes, and the only outlet we had was entertainment that we could watch on a screen. Right. So I came in to get rid of the boredom and all of the online corporate events and conferences and webinars that we were just sitting through for hours on end. And I would just pop on the screen and give people energy, play music, interact with people through the chat. And that created the DJ Graffiti of right now. And because I was always a marketing guy, finally I decided, wait a minute, hold on, this business events, the world of business events and corporate events is really where I should have been all along. Yes. Right. And that has allowed me to mix both online events and in person. And so I don't have to be on the road all the time. I get to stay home with my family quite a bit and still travel and get out and feel that in-person energy. But I love both online and in person. Right. So that's awesome. The DJ Graffiti story. And I'll add one last thing is I'm the go-to guy for large corporate events. Right. And the only reason that happened was because of COVID. I haven't told too many people this. I created a list of $30 billion brands that I love their brand, use their products during the course of COVID. And I said, I'm going to reach out to them. At this point, I've worked with 14 of them. Some of them weren't a fit, but within about a 2-year period, I was able to work with 14 of them. And that doesn't happen, right? You don't just reach out to, it's Google, it's Amazon. We're talking about Nike and Campbell's and all of these companies. I just reached out and was able to get in touch with somebody. And they were like, whoa, we see that thing you're doing. Yeah, we want that. Come on in. Right. And that just, it doesn't happen now. And it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for COVID. So I was kind of grateful for what COVID brought into my life. It hurt so many people and so many people. It was a rough time. It was depressing, but it actually up-leveled my life and got me to where I feel like I'm supposed to be.
Listeners, there's a couple of insights I just want to key in there. And Graffiti, I can totally relate to your journey in my own way. Is you in college, like, had a crossroads. You thought, I'm destined for one thing. And then you had an experience. You actually got your dream early, almost. You achieved that dream, and then it allowed you to get that perspective to go, wait a second, maybe actually I'm really destined for something else. It's okay to have to shift gears, and hopefully you can shift gears early. And then also COVID, which was a huge disaster for the world and what had happened and everything like that, gave us all space and time to try to help each other, to express ourselves differently, to think about where we want to go next. And then the last point is just having that target market. Even if you're being a DJ, a new professional service, whatever it is, just having that market in mind. These people are waiting for someone to focus on them, right? Is that what you found? Because almost what you described there was they're sort of, oh, okay, sure, I'll listen. You got something here? And then you backed it up with good content and a resume and a portfolio to back it up. But were these people hard to reach out to? Tell us a bit about how you went to market with that and reached out to those people, because there's other folks listening on the line saying, I need to go find similar people as DJ Graffiti. I might be a person who wants to market and get my service found like DJ Graffiti has. How'd you do it? What can you share with us?
Well, the biggest piece of it is just to stop getting in your own way and just do it, right? It's not going to work necessarily the first time you try something, but keep going and keep trying it so if you don't actually hear everybody telling you, no, I absolutely don't want that, that doesn't mean, no, I don't want that, right? If you tried email and you didn't get any responses, that is not no. That's you didn't get any responses.
That happened to you? Did that happen to you sometimes?
It did. Well, I mean, so the thing was, I ran a lead generation agency prior to this. So like I kind of had that in my back pocket, right? Yeah. So I was I knew the game exactly, right? So yes, I did cold email. I started out though, and I'll say, and I really haven't shared this, right? Like I plan to actually box this and share it, but this is new. So when I first started out, I started out really trying to automate things, and that didn't really work, right? It wasn't personal enough. It was more like, let me have thousands of leads that I downloaded from a website somewhere, people's business email, and they didn't ask to hear from me, and I'm just hitting everybody with this templated email. That didn't work, right? And in fact, I burned a couple email domains. So I created new domain. I knew enough to know, don't use your regular email address, right? That is attached to your main djgraffiti.com domain. But I created a couple new ones, right? I created djgraffiti.net and djgraffiti.org, right? And so I went out and I burned a couple of those just by getting spam complaints because I was spamming people, right?
But look, we've all done it, right, marketers? You're all nodding along, listening. We have all crossed this bridge, and there is a way to get lists of targets, and if you can personalize it enough and stuff like that, this could work. But what you're saying, DJ Graffiti, is it didn't work for you with the approach you were taking. You know,
I won't say it didn't work. It did work. I got definitely closed a couple of people that way, but I was like, I'm burning more bridges, right, than I'm connecting and walking over. Right. So I was doing that via email and then also via LinkedIn. I had the automated messages going out on LinkedIn. And then after a while, I was just like, this is just, I don't know. This is not it. And so I flipped and went the complete opposite way. Right. So instead of trying to automate everything, I was like, I'm going to go overboard on actual research and personalization. And then that was when I decided, all right, let me create these 30 companies. Right. And then or create a list of 30 companies, and then I'm just going to find a handful of people at each of these companies. And then I created a personal video for each company and sent it out until I reached a person. And that was what worked. Right. And that was what really
video
worked.
You put the video in the email. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. I'm DJ Graffiti. Here's my service. Here's what I can offer you. That type of message, something along those lines.
Yep. Well, I didn't actually put the video in the first email because with cold email, you want to try and not put any kind of attachments or links if you can, right? And just leave it as lean as possible. I even stripped out my whole footer where I have my signature down there because that has a link to my website and an image and all that kind of stuff. And I just made it a plain text email that say, hey, I created a video for you. I've worked with artists like this. Can I share this video? And so all I was really trying to do is get them to reply and say, yeah, I'll take a look at it. Right. And so once they replied, that's when I sent it.
All right. Then you're met with the next chapter where they go, okay, I think I may want to DJ. I just need to have a little music played in the background. DJ Graffiti. Oh, I think this is worth a few $100 to us. Like, how did you start to get people to appreciate and realize you're not just there for background music? You're not there just to provide music. How do you get people to appreciate the true value that you bring to the table and how you're unique among DJs, that you understand business, you have that marketing background, that entrepreneurial background? Like, can you just tell us about that next chapter of the conversations where you try to get people to level up to where you wanted them to see you as and what you could do?
For sure. Well, I kind of, let's step back because I put things a little bit out of order. So I didn't start sending out those emails until I realized, wow, this is a thing. Because I didn't even know it was a thing. I was just DJing online. Like a lot of DJs were just online on Facebook, on YouTube. Everywhere you turned around, there was a DJ spinning somewhere. Shout out to D Nice, who was on Instagram and had, hundreds of thousands of people and half the world watching him while he was spinning. One of my people that I look up to is DJ Jazzy Jeff. He was on YouTube. He was everywhere. But lots of DJs were online DJing. I was no different. I was there doing my thing.
Yeah.
A couple of my in-person clients saw me doing what I was doing on Facebook and YouTube and said, hey, can you do that for us? We're having an event and we would love you to just join and play some music for us, have a celebration with us. And that was what started it for me. It's like I actually started doing it with corporate clients and then it woke me up like, wow, this is amazing. Right. Yeah. What changed was at first when I was just online playing for friends and family and fans, who just knew me already, right? I was not talking to the camera. I just would play music. It was the camera on me and I was playing songs and I would say a couple words here and there, but there was no interaction with the audience, right? And then I tried to get going on Twitch, which is a platform where lots of people are live streaming and creating and I could never get an audience more than like 10 people at a time. And I didn't know why. And I was like, I'm better than a lot of these other people. And there were people who were like, they weren't DJs, but they started DJing and they would play a song and then there would be like 2 minutes of silence and then they would play another song. And I was like, what? How come I can't get an audience? And I didn't realize, it hadn't clicked to me that people were tuning in for their personality, for the experience that they were creating. And that was the reason for everything. That was the reason that they had success. Finally, once that clicked to me, I started creating my own kind of adding my own personality and creating my own environment where people could enjoy me and I was interacting with them and I brought them into the event. That took it to the next level. So to answer your question, I had to do all of that first before I started reaching out. And then once I realized, wow, I really have something here, that was when the marketing started. Before that, I was just kind of like, yeah, go ahead.
No, I appreciate that, Martin. And again, this is why you are like a final boss interview for me, because I'm like, this guy has come from a different background, but he has gone through the journey years ahead of me. Like I can so relate. Again, during COVID, I'm like, I want to do more work where I use my public speaking abilities, my ability to sort of like rally people in the room around me. And what can I do is I started reading books dramatically on YouTube and start sharing that with friends and family. And then people said, hey, you're actually good at that. Like you've got voice acting skills and things like that. Can you actually MC our all hands or our quarterly lead gen event during my day job and stuff like that? And it was just like you, I don't know. I didn't say I need to have a business plan around what content I'm creating or sharing. I'm going to put what I enjoy out to the world, start to get feedback. And just like you said, Graffiti, that like people start sticking around for the little stuff I would say before or after I read whatever book I was reading off to them. They just appreciate, they came for the personality. They first came for the content, but they stuck around for the personality type of thing. Oh, DJ Graffiti is going to play some music, but then they're like, this guy gets me fired up. Actually, I kind of like his style. That's certainly when I saw you perform at Guru Media's a huge event about events, that virtual event. I was more picking up, just like you said, your energy, the comments you're saying over the mic. Yes, the music was fantastic. It was on point. You were taking requests, mixing them together, but we were all vibing off of your attitude, your feeling that you imparted with us. And that's just a secret weapon that you can put to the table there. So is that a secret? Like other DJs, like, are they missing this? Are people just missing injecting their personality more into it? Why aren't other people doing that, I suppose? Like, or how do you hone that as a differentiator even more? Because it's true. Everybody's personality is unique. And you put yours into your DJing and the work that you do.
So when it comes to personality, I don't know that everybody has the personality to do what it is that I do, right? That's something that I found that I'm unique. You're unique because you DJ and also, have a great personality and mic voice and ability to captivate a crowd from a stage. I've seen it firsthand, right? But that is not everybody's cup of tea. Right. Especially DJs. Most DJs are introverts. Right. So we're great for standing behind some equipment and playing music and sometimes like cluing into where the audience is and having a feedback loop or where, we play a song, they like it, we give them some more. Like that's what DJs do. And so a lot of DJs, you'll see them, they can wave their hands around and dance on stage. But when it comes time to talk on the microphone, and especially be able to do things off the cuff and be able to react in the moment and just the energy to capture. Because sometimes people step to the microphone and they're like, okay, now today we're going to, it's like, that's not going to cut it. Right. So I just don't know that everybody's cut out for it. But for those people who are, it's a special skill to be able to both DJ at a high level and then also captivate a crowd and interact with them at a high level. And so to have either those pieces of your deeper personality come out, right? Whether that's humor, whether that's, whatever it is that allows you to kind of captivate people. Sometimes it's just the warmth. People can feel your energy that comes across. Sometimes you're really smart. And so you say stuff that just blows people's minds. It's like whatever it is that makes you, that has to come out. Right. And
can we drill on that? Can I jump in?
You jump in.
I love it, man. We're keep it organic and real time here. You talk about personality and DJing coming together. Can we talk about walkout tracks? Do you have a philosophy or an approach when you're working with a client? Do you have a walkout track you like to do? Do you like to work with the client thinking about walkout tracks for the keynote that you might be teeing up? Or, how do you think about choosing music for who is being introduced, who is coming on the stage, setting a tone for the personality the audience is about to encounter, whether it's your own personality or the people that you might be introducing? I think about this a lot as an MC. I like working with the DJs if I'm not DJing myself around this area. I just wonder what your philosophy is or what your approach is when you think about your own walkout track, or if and how you approach walkout tracks for others in the conferences you do.
Well, I usually don't have a walkout track, and it's because I'm already there before there's a walking out, right? So
that's true.
Pretty often I'm playing music as people enter the space, right? And so I don't necessarily have my own walkout track, but for other people, it's never about me, and it's always about them.
Yes.
Right? So it's what is going to get them in the state that they need to be in so that they feel energized, so that they're excited to take the stage, so that whatever state they need to be in to deliver the content or the talk that they're coming to give and feel the best about themselves, then that's what song I want them coming out to. I don't really care, to tell you the truth, I don't really care too much about what the audience thinks about it. It could be a slow jam, and if that's the right thing for their personality, that's going to connect, and then the audience will feel it. They may not like it when I first start playing it, but if they see a person come out and they're like, then they're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Now they're all in. That was always my thing with weddings. I did some weddings during that interim where I went from being the biggest and best DJ Graffiti to just, weekend DJ Graffiti for that next period of time. And I really enjoyed, definitely, I really enjoyed weddings because I feel like I'm contributing to the rest of somebody's life. But every time the couple would be like, is it okay for us to have this as our first song? Is this going to work? Or do you think, is this cheesy? Is this bad? And I'm like, it's your first song, right? They're all here to celebrate you. You get in your moment and get what you need, and then they'll be okay. Right. So that has carried itself throughout all of the corporate events. I want to find out, I want to make sure that whatever song I'm playing for somebody to walk up to the stage is the right fit for them.
It's so true. And marketers and sales leaders who are listening, just remember that truism, which is when you're putting on an event, people in the audience just want whoever's on stage to be at their best. They don't want that person to fail. They don't want that person to be at half strength or half confidence or whatever. They don't want that person to be in their mode, in their zone. They want the best of whatever that person's going to give. And isn't it amazing how music is a huge unlock for so many people? And and music is so personal, Martin, right? Like you, like you said, you never get the same request for what the walkout track is. It's never like a Eye of the Tiger for everybody. There's something specific that they want. You're like, I could never have guessed that would be the song. And that's exactly why it needs to be the song. Because they need that person to go, I'm in control. This is me. I'm about to give you more of me, Do you feel that way? Or is that what you've seen to be true as well?
Yes, that is absolutely what is true across the board. So I can think of one time where the organization picked walkout tracks for all of the speakers. There was various speakers on the conference. And during rehearsals, we played the song for, I'm not going to say her name because but we played the song for one of the speakers who came to the stage, and she was just like, ew, that's dark. And so I absolutely was like, yep, we're changing that. Right. Yeah, because that can't be how she feels, right, coming out to the stage. If she noticed that was dark and it wasn't a fit, then let's change it immediately. There's no reason to leave it in there. Right. Yeah. So it's, and not only the speakers need to be at their best, but the people in the audience, they want to be at their best too. So that's really the driving force behind what I do is it's not about me. It's about them. All right. That's one of the differences also between myself and I would say most other DJs. I see myself as more of a stylist than I am a pure artist, right?
Ooh,
so artists come to the table saying, this is my art and this is my gift to the world, right? So they're bringing their perspective and sharing it. A stylist is more so, yes, I'm talented, right? I have a perspective, but it's my job to make my client look good, right? It's my job to give them the best and have them be at their best. It's not necessarily if I'm a clothing stylist, it may not be what I would wear that I put on them. It's got to be a fit for them. If I'm creating the style for their house, right? my living room may not look like that, but I'm going to use my artistic ability to make it the best that they want and elevate their, final product to be exactly what they're looking for. And so I'm doing that with music, and that's not a normal thing for all DJs. Sometimes DJs just want to come in and play, this is what I play, and this is what I'm going to play. For me, I'm a musical chameleon, and I want to adapt to the audience such that everybody who leaves out of there is like, wow, this was so amazing and the perfect fit for us. And it elevated me to get exactly what I needed from this event.
I couldn't agree more, DJ Graffiti, because it's a content marketer's dream to do what you do full time, and what I also support and have done as well as a DJ on the side, is being able to just read what's going on with your target audience, feed them some content, music, and see them respond, and then adjust in real time every 3 minutes. How can I dial this in even more, keep this going, level them up, like keep their spirits high, keep them engaged? It's just so awesome. So I wanted to ask you, let's tell the audience how you tie all this stuff you've been telling us together. Let's imagine you're on the Zoom call, you're in the meeting now with a prospect. It's one of these top 20, major corporation targets. Like, what typically has mattered to them when you first get on the call versus what matters to you with what you just described to us? Are they often not quite the same? Do you help bring the prospect or the potential client around to, like, it's not just, I'm going to do a set in the beginning or whatever. Like, I want to help you with the walkout tracks. So they come sometimes with walkout tracks. Help us see the picture of what clients are typically looking for with you, and how you also maybe help them expand their thought process as to what you can really give them and how you really can work best.
That's a great question, Nick. So for me, it's a discovery process. It's not very different than starting as if I had a marketing agency and I'm sitting down for that initial call with the client. So first, I want to know what they are looking for and what they want, right? So I'm not putting my perspective into it at first. I just want to hear them out and say, why did you reach out to me? What is it that you were looking for? And what did you want me to bring to the table? How do you see me being involved in the event? So they tell me all of those things. And then beyond that, I start to ask questions in terms of, how are you measuring the success of the event, right?
Yes.
It's like, I want to think about, and also asking things like, are there any places where you're finding some friction, where you're concerned about what might go on with the event? Are there any things that you were worried and didn't know how you were going to pull XYZ thing off, right? And then that's where I try to insert myself. So I try to help them solve some problems. I try to ease certain things, especially, this is where the marketing side of it comes into it for me, is right now, mentally, I'm very much thinking about webinars, right? On a webinar, you don't usually expect to see a DJ. So somebody coming in with energy and playing some music, welcoming everybody.
Most of the time, there's no music on the webinar. Most of the time, there's no music at all.
Exactly.
On a DJ.
Yeah, so just coming in with that's a plus. It usually elevates most events. But that's where people might think that my job stops. Oh, he comes in, he brings some energy, he plays some music, interacts with the audience, gets them engaged. Great. That's what he does. But beyond that, I've learned that because I am not whatever company is there, people aren't expecting me to be selling anything, right? So they're that barrier, that wall they might put up to block out, nope, I don't want to buy anything, right? Is brought down.
That's
right. So I can then talk about the product. I can talk about the outcomes. I can push people in different directions without that same friction being there. And then it's also my personality. I'm just more casual, right? And it doesn't feel like I'm selling anything. So I try to understand, what is the core thing that this brand or this company wants to get out of this webinar? And then how can I push people in that direction through my actions, through my interaction, through the songs that I'm playing? Can I play a song that highlights one of the key points they want everybody to get and talk about it, right? So it's not only just bringing the energy and the entertainment value, but it's also driving outcomes. And I think the mixture of those with the public speaking and DJing, that's what makes me, DJ Graffiti, the keynote DJ.
I can so relate to everything that you're sharing. And as a MC and a facilitator, I love working with business-minded entertainers like you who get that, who everything you just said, I also try to impart to my clients, which is like, what's the key CTA? Yes, I know I need to cue certain people, create a certain vibe, work with the entertainment or the other content providers and stuff like that. But what are we really driving? And I feel like your clients and mine don't really expect us to be asking that. Like they're thinking, oh, we're going to take care of that. You cover this base and then we're going to have, but like, no, we're all unified. We're all together. And I think the best entertainers I've worked with like you is why I'm so excited. You know this, I want to find an opportunity for you and I to team up on a client together, is because to be able to work with an entertainer who gets that and play off them. And then you create like the 1 + 1 = 11 sort of feeling with the content, and you're going back and forth on each other. You're joking a little bit. I'm picking up off the track that you're playing and we're moving into another track like that. So just completely relate to what you're saying. I'm going to ask just a curveball question, because I always wonder this of fellow DJs. How do you think about the sort of like royalty and trademark aspect of it? People want to hear music they recognize, but we're also on like a business webinar that's going to be recorded and repurposed. So how do you cross that bridge? I often use royalty-free tracks. I have a subscription, with premium beat and stuff like that. But you sometimes want to play some Beyonce. Like you said, you sometimes want to play these tracks, and DJs get a lot of license, I think, if it's a public sort of hangout and you're just playing some music for people to entertain. And usually there's not much a DJ has to worry about. But sometimes if it's a recording, have you ever encountered an issue with that? Has a client ever brought that up? What's your answer to, can we play other songs on this thing if it's for business or being recorded?
Yeah, so I am pretty in tune with what needs to happen from that licensing perspective, because I've, done the research on it. And that is actually one of the bigger pieces of a talk that I often give to event professionals.
Love it.
Is about that very topic. But there are licenses that you can acquire for any event that you have, where you can pay a certain fee and then you're in the clear. You're able to play whatever the music is that you're playing. Now, when it's a live event and or broadcasted once, that's a pretty affordable license. Once you record it and then put it up for replay and you have it, a lot of times it'll be like, okay, you can replay this for a certain period of time and you still have a reasonable fee. But once you actually take a song, put it in with video and put it in a recording, you fall into the same area where a movie or a TV commercial falls into, and then that's where your license fees are going to get a lot, greater. But most of the events that I'm doing are that more shorter time period. And so even though people think they can't do that, you can acquire licenses with the performing rights organizations, which are, we don't even need to go. Just look up PROs. But I don't know that we need to give all of that information. If you want more about that, reach out to me. But that's right. Probably more detailed than you need. But I'm saying it's very reasonable, especially if you're actually doing business and making money. I mean, we're talking about something that's usually in the hundreds to thousands, lower thousands of dollars, right? So for companies that when you're having 10,000 people on here, if you can pay $1,500 and know that you can play any song you want to play, that's probably a pretty reasonable, expense at that point.
Sure. Good. No, I'm actually glad we brought it up, because it just shows, Graffiti, that you understand the business aspects of this and how to do it at the highest level, the highest stakes, and so on. You can advise clients on the approach because you understand the legality and the financial impact of that. So I think it's just shows, again, your professionalism and your experience, and why people need to reach out to folks like you. So I think, let's see, I just wonder if people are wondering, can I really afford to do this? Because I think there's budget pressure, there's economic uncertainty. A lot of event marketers are just feeling like the walls are closing in on them and they've got this ever shrinking budget window. What's your advice to them when they think, wow, DJ Graffiti's got a lot of experience. He's worked with all these big companies. I encountered the same issue myself. What's your advice to them about the value that you bring, even in an uncertain time, limited budget? How should they think about being able to afford and the value of the investment in a real professional, experienced entertainer like yourself in their event?
Well, I kind of have a dual way of getting about it. Let me not, we're running short on time, so I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I am not cheap, right? I am not going to be the most affordable option, right? But it's because I'm a proven commodity at this point. I've been doing this for a really long time, and there's really not very many people who can do what I do, right? I am not the best DJ in the world. I have plenty of friends that'll wash me from a DJ perspective that are much better DJs, but most of them don't want to be on the same stage with me when it comes to a corporate event, right?
That's right.
So my price, and also it's not scalable at all. From a business perspective, there's only me. I'm in one place at one time doing one thing, right? And so the price is the price. But
that's right.
So if you're interested, reach out. I'm happy to share. I'm not going to hold back and try to keep it from you or anything. I actually have a calculator on my website where if you're interested, you can go there. And if you look at pricing, you can put some details in and it'll tell you how much it would cost to have me approximately at your event. But that said, I am not the only person that you can reach out to. There are plenty of other amazing people who are professional. They might be DJs. They might be, I know I have a friend who's an MC and a drummer. I have, so like there's so many people who can bring energy, yourself included, right? And I'm encouraging you to step out there and just, man, get into more spaces because you deserve to be there. I know you have other things you have going on, so it's not your main focus, but more people need Nick on their stage. If you are listening to this podcast and don't know that Nick should be hosting your event and bringing that energy full stop, right? You should have Nick. Because I was blown away when I was seeing you at Inbound and I had no, I just knew you from the guru environment and had no idea of your presence and your capabilities, your knowledge and wisdom on marketing and ability to captivate people from the stage. So I'm saying it doesn't have to be me. Find somebody who can elevate your event and give you that polish, the entertainment value, interact with the audience and keep them engaged, uplifted, bring everything that you need in addition to the content and the business perspective that you're driving through your event. Find those people. They are out there.
DJ Graffiti, I so appreciate you, and that means so much coming from you. How you felt about my my performance and what I gave at Inbound 25 this year. I was so glad you were in the room for that because I do feel like there's so much more I have to give, and your encouragement over these last several weeks that we've been talking has been so crucial for me. I'm inspired by your journey and what you've done, and I want to just encourage everybody to listen to what DJ Graffiti just told you, which is reach out to him. And you've got nothing to risk by going to his website. You can just use a calculator, never talk to him at all. But as you can tell, he's a nice guy. I've really enjoyed getting to know him, and that he can, if he's not the right fit for you, your budget, your timing, whatever it is, he's going to point you to somebody who can. And if you want to talk to me about emceeing, I'd be all about it. And I would kill for an opportunity for DJ Graffiti and I to partner up as the ultimate DJ MC combo for an event. If you want to explore that, call him, call me. Let's talk about it. But man, I just really appreciate you coming on. And I know this is just another chapter of our collaboration here. And I can't wait to see what comes next for the both of us.
I am right there with you. Thank you for having me, Nick. And just grateful to be here on the podcast and for you to share your stage with me. This has been awesome.
That's awesome, man. I hope there'll be more stages we'll be sharing in the future. That's what I'm hoping for. Awesome. Thanks, everybody, for listening. There's another one in the can. Vision to Vibe. Here we go.